Welcome back to the channel. It's been a minute since I've done an offbeat video, but I think it's time I talk about the Ben Simmons situation, because when it comes to an end, I think a lot of players, coaches, and GMs, and really the entire NBA is going to be affected once this entire fiasco ends. But before I get into this video, definitely leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and if you are new, turn the post notification bell on so you never miss a video when I upload. Besides all that, let's get right into the video. So look, we know what the Ben Simmons situation is all about. He's not playing for the Philadelphia. Damn, I stuttered so bad on that. Jesus Christ. He's not playing for the Okay, all right, try this again. He's not playing for the Sixers this year. We understand that he's been shut down. They're looking to trade him. And he's also said he had mental issues. He doesn't feel like he's ready to come back and play for them. And that's a whole different situation. I won't touch base on that. But I do want to talk about the fact that the Sixers right now, they play some great basketball. As of this recording, Joel Embiid, in my opinion, is the favorite for MVP. He's playing great basketball. Now, when we look at the Ben Simmons trade packages, a lot of teams have sent some crazy packages. You look at the Kings sending Tyrese Halliburton, who's a crazy good young player, Buddy Hield, Harrison Barnes, and the first-round picks to the Sixers for Ben Simmons. And the Sixers, they're not going for it. You look at the Pistons even sending some first-round picks, and they've sent some players such as Sadiq Bey, who's a good young player. I believe they were going to send Kelly Olynyk and I believe Jeremy Grant as well. But the Sixers, they're not going for any of these trades. And you look at the GM for the Sixers, Daryl Morey, who many of you guys may not know, but he was the GM for the Houston Rockets back in the day when James Harden was there, even back then with T-Mac and Yao. And if you guys know anything about Daryl Morey, he is always in it to win it. He's going to make a big trade that's going to shake up his entire roster for the sake of winning. But as we've seen so far, the Sixers believe that a lot of these trades just aren't good enough to put them over the hump. Because when you really look at it, the Sixers, they're a really good team. And these trade packages that they've gotten are good, but is it enough to put them above the hump and maybe make it to the conference finals? Do these trades really shake up their roster to the point where we can say they're better than the Bucks, the Bulls, the Nets? Like, I don't think those trades really do that. They're more deep, but that secondary player that you want to put next to Joel Embiid, you got to do that. Because again, you look at Ben Simmons. I know Ben Simmons gets a lot of flack for just, he was asked. I ain't gonna, that was bad. That was bad. We got to respect Ben Simmons. I ain't gonna lie. He's still a great defender, one of the best defenders in the league. He is a two-time All-Star, and I do think that he did shit the bed last year, but I think you got to respect the value that he has, especially that he can garner in a trade. So the Sixers understand that, and a lot of these trades that they've seen, they're just not going for it. Now, I don't believe Ben Simmons will be traded by the trade deadline. There's a lot of positives of making a trade in the offseason, and there are a few negatives. I want to touch base on that. Let's talk about the positives, right? So let's say they make a trade in the offseason for Ben Simmons. Let's say they trade Ben Simmons in the offseason, right? You look at the good. You get more time to build out your roster going forward, going into the next season. You look at what the Lakers did in 2020. You were able to trade your young pieces and get AD, and also bring in a lot of players that you're going to build into your team. And by doing so, you built your roster. And the next year you win a championship. That's fair. That's pretty good. And on top of that, you got a lot more options, a lot more pool players that you can pick from, because we all know James Harden is who the Sixers want. If you know anything about Daryl Morey, he was right there next to James Harden during those Rockets dynasty days back when James Harden was a Rocket. He did everything James Harden wanted. He brought in Westbrook. He brought in Dwight Howard. He brought in Chris Paul. Like, he knows how great James Harden is. And I think he wants him next to Joel Embiid. You also have Damian Lillard, who might be traded as well. There's so much more opportunities in the offseason to go ahead and make a bigger trade and also get back a lot more than what you want. Now, there's negatives too in doing so. We gotta respect that as well, because when you also have more opportunity, other teams have opportunity to steal the players that you want. You got to talk about the fact that, you want James Harden. If the Nets have a good offseason this year, and let's say they actually make it to the conference finals or make it to the finals, or let's say they win, James Harden may not want to leave. You may talk about the fact that Damian Lillard may not want to leave, and a lot of players that you want may not come to Philly. Now, we've seen if they don't get back what they want in this trade, Daryl Morey is okay with waiting, as we've seen, because he's not taking anything that's not worth value. Now, if you wait, you're also wasting the prime of Joel Embiid. And we've talked about how good Joel Embiid has been. Joel Embiid, if you guys haven't checked, he's putting up some crazy numbers. Joel Embiid has been doing what he can to carry this entire team. And you talk about the fact that comparing Nikola Jokic, Joel Embiid right now I think has a slight edge over the MVP. And we've all talked about him being the MVP favorite so far. But man, you can't waste the prime of somebody playing at an MVP level, especially last year when he was playing great basketball, this year as well. And on top of that, I hate to say, but Joel Embiid hasn't always had the best injury history and the health. And as he ages, big men don't necessarily age well in this league so far. So again, you got to execute this as soon as possible and get back enough value to where you can say Joel Embiid and so can lead us going forward. Now, that's the negatives of waiting. You've seen how it can be positive and negative in waiting for a trade. But again, you got to get back the right value. You talk about the fact that with Ben Simmons out, his second best player, he could have easily faltered and looked bad this season, but he's only stepped up. We all know Joel Embiid as a troll. We've seen him troll everybody. Everybody's been trolled by Joel Embiid, but you've seen him step up as being a leader on this team. You've seen him step up on the offensive side, being a better playmaker. Check out his playmaking. He's been looking pretty good. The same way we talk about Jokic in the post, finding guys, Embiid has been just as good. On top of that, the scoring, a 7-footer moving like that, seeing flashes of Hakeem. I ain't saying he's Hakeem. He's not Hakeem, but he's showing me a little something. All right, he's showing me a little something, so we got to give him some credit too. And again, it's not like this team sucks. You got great players in Matisse Thybulle, who's a good defender, Tyrese Maxey. Tobias Harris hasn't looked great. Hasn't looked great. Seth Curry. You got players who are competent enough to help him because of their spacing and the ability to space the floor. Joel Embiid, give him some props, bro. Because I think a lot of players didn't expect the Sixers to be even this good right now and really compete. Because remember, at the beginning of the season when he was out, they were damn near close to like the 7th or 8th seed. But they've been pushing it. They've been doing their thing. So that's why it's so important that this trade that they're going to do, if Ben Simmons isn't coming back, which I think that's pretty much dead. I don't think Philly fans want him to come back. This trade has to be perfect. And the fact that the matter is, Daryl Morey, especially from a guy who's lived in Houston, Daryl Morey will do whatever it takes to win. You talk about the fact, I said it before, he would trade for Dwight Howard back in 2013. He would trade for Chris Paul. He makes big moves for the sake of the team winning. So, and you talk about James Harden being available and James Harden and his situation in the Brooklyn Nets. I don't want to talk too much about the Brooklyn Nets, but I think that if Brooklyn doesn't do right by James Harden, that's one of the bigger reasons why Daryl Morey is waiting. And I think that if James Harden is available to add to a guy in Joel Embiid, who you can run crazy pick and rolls with, it's a system that James Harden has played in. He knows Daryl Morey. Daryl Morey could put the right team together with him, with a big man who can also spread the floor and also release some playmaking responsibilities for James Harden. It's a match made in heaven. And I think that that's one of the bigger reasons why he's waiting. But like I said before, you only get one shot. You get one shot with this Ben Simmons trade. And if you don't get what you want, it's going to be bad. Because we've already seen, if he doesn't like what he has, he's going to wait on it. And that's a scary situation. Because like I said before, if you don't get what you want, not only will you ruin a relationship with Joel Embiid, you're wasting his prime, wasting his time where he can actually be competing for a championship. And then on top of that, you're not getting back enough value for Ben Simmons. So Daryl Morey, I don't know. Like I said before, this is a situation where when it comes to an end, a lot of things are going to happen. And I think that by July, Ben Simmons will be on a different team. I just don't know what the Sixers are going to get back. And that's what I really want to see. But that concludes the video. Y'all let me know in the comment section what y'all think. Because I think a lot of people don't understand that Ben Simmons getting traded is bigger than just the Sixers. It's going to move the entire league. So what do you guys think? Matter of fact, by July, y'all let me know in the comment section. By July, what do you think is going to happen with the Ben Simmons situation? Who's going to get traded? Who's going to be available? All that, y'all let me know in the comment section. But if you enjoyed the video, of course, leave a like, subscribe if you're new, definitely turn the post notification bell on so you can see whenever I post a video. But until next time, stay on beat.